Hey y'all, welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful cable stitch Christmas stockings. I made these for my family last year and I was so excited to bring them out again this year and even more excited to show you guys how I made them. I used 2 different color acrylic yarns, but you can totally do one solid stocking if that's what you prefer. It's a fairly easy pattern. It's a repeat pattern, so once you get into the groove of it, it'll get really simple in my opinion. So I don't think this is hard to do at all. We're going to start by doing the main section of the sock, the cable part, and then we'll do the toe, the heel, and the ribbing. Let's get started. I'm going to use 2 different color yarns by Big Twist. One is going to be in the color Camel, and the other is going to be Toffee. I'm going to need a stitch marker and a 4.5 millimeter hook and some scissors. I'm going to start off with the lighter color. You can do the darker one if you want to contrast with the light, or if you're doing solid, whatever color you have. And then you're going to make a slip knot or a knot. And then we're going to chain 49 chains. I'll meet you back when I have 49 chains. I have my 49 chains. And now, turning it to the side, we're going to work in that 3rd loop at the back. And skipping the first chain, we're going to do 48 extended single crochets. Okay, this is the chain we're going to start. Let me show you how to do that. So just like a regular single crochet, you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and instead of pulling through all 2, you're going to pull through just 1 and yarn over, pull through 2. And that's an extended single crochet. I'm going to place my stitch marker in so we can keep track, and so that our lines don't get all wonky. And then I'm going to show you one more time. You're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do this again. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through the loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And that's an extended single crochet. We're going to do that all the way to the end. And you should have 48 extended single crochet. I'll do that and then I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I have my 48 extended single crochet, and now we want to connect it in the round. So we're going to grab the other end, and then basically our next stitch is going to be into our first stitch where the stitch marker is, so that now we can crochet in the round and it'll create the sock pretty much. So we're going to remove the stitch marker. And into your first stitch, we're going to place an extended single crochet. So you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to replace the stitch marker. This is how we're going to keep track of the round. And now, don't worry about this space. We're going to connect that like that in the end. Into your next stitch, we're going to do a front post double crochet. So around this post. So we're going to skip that first one. Let me show you. So we already worked into this first stitch. So we're going to place it right in here. This will be a front post double crochet. All right, so into the next stitch, a front post double crochet. Just like that. And then into the next stitch, which is kind of hidden, so you kind of have to pull it because we did a front post, so it's kind of a little bit hard to see. But it's kind of right next to the front post. I'm going to take it out and show you guys again. So this is the front post, and this is the next stitch where we'll place an extended single crochet. Okay, so let's place back the front post double crochet. And then into the next stitch right here, an extended single crochet. Now, into the next two stitches, we're going to place a front post double crochet. So one front post double crochet. And then another front post double crochet. The next stitch is going to be an extended single crochet. Right here next to it, you're going to place an extended single crochet. Just like that. And then two front post double crochet. So one front post double crochet. And then two front post double crochet. And then we're going to repeat this. This is the pattern for the first round. Okay, so let's do that again. So it's an extended single crochet. And it's good to write this down so you can remember this little pattern. That's what I did. The next stitch is a front post double crochet. The next stitch is an extended single crochet. And then the next two stitches are front post double crochet. So one front post double crochet. And then two front post double crochet. The next stitch is an extended single crochet. And then two front post double crochet. Make sure you skip that stitch that we just put an extended single crochet into. And then in the next two stitches, a front post double crochet. It may seem confusing at first, but once you get into the groove of it, I promise it goes by easy. This is the second front post double crochet, and that's the pattern, and you're going to keep doing that until you reach your stitch marker again. So extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet, 2 front post double crochet, and extended single crochet, 2 front post double crochet, and then you're going to repeat that all the way until you get to your stitch marker. Like I said, it's good to write it because that's how it was easy for me to breeze through it. So extended single crochet into the next stitch, front post double crochet, an extended single crochet, two front post double crochet, 1, 2, then an extended single crochet, and 2 front post double crochet, 1, 2, and then we're going to repeat that same pattern. Extended single crochet, front post double crochet, an extended single crochet, two front post double crochet, 1, 2, the next one is going to be an extended single crochet, two front post double crochet. Make sure you're skipping that. You have to pay attention to these first few stitches because they're not going to be as visible. 1, 2, and then repeat. You can kind of see them coming in, but you'll really be able to see them in the following rows. Extended single crochet into the next stitch, front post double crochet, skip that one, front post, extended single crochet into the next, 2 front post double crochet, 1, 2, extended single crochet, front post double crochet, 1, 2, and now we're down to our last repeat. So into this stitch, an extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet, 2 front post double crochet, This is 2. Extended single crochet, and then 2 front post double crochet. 1, you have to kind of pull it to see it, but it's there. 2, flip this, there we go. This is how it looks. Now this second round is going to be a crossing round. That's what I'm going to call it, a crossing round, where we're going to start the crossing of the cables. So each round is going to always start off the same. You're going to place an extended single crochet into this first stitch, making sure to replace the stitch marker. Into the next stitch, we're going to place a front post double crochet. And then into the next stitch, we're going to place an extended single crochet. Now, this is where we're going to start to cable. Into these stitches that are protruding, that were front post double crochet, I'll show you these 2 stitches here that you're going to skip. You're going to skip that, and then we're going to go into these 2, this one starting first. And into those front post double crochet, you're going to place a front post treble. So you're going to wrap your yarn twice and skipping those stitches, and into this front post double crochet, you're going to pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. You're going to do that 3 times. That's a treble crochet. So yarn over twice, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your front post treble crochets. Now your next stitch is going to be behind those stitches you just made, in the middle. So you're going to have to go back 2 stitches. So right here in the middle, you're going to place an extended single crochet. So we just did this front post treble and this front post treble. So now we're going to go back and we're going to place an extended single crochet into that stitch. So you're going to kind of fold those stitches down. You're going to insert your hook, and then you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, because that's an extended single crochet. Now we're going to go back and get those 2 front posts that we missed. So yarn over twice. We're going to go back to the first one first, and we're going to do a front post treble. So pull through 2 loops 3 times. So pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Now we're going to get that next one. Insert your yarn, your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, a treble. So that starts your crossing cables. And it's going to get neater as you go, I promise. It won't be as hard either. Your next stitch is going to be right here, and it's going to be an extended single crochet. I'm sure we know how to do an extended single crochet by now, just like that. Your next stitch is going to be a front post double crochet. We only do trebles when we're crossing. Your next stitch is an extended single crochet. And now we're at a crossing again. So you're going to work into this stitch. So you're going to yarn over twice. You're going to skip 3 stitches, and you're going to go into this front post double crochet with a treble. So that's pulling through 2 loops 3 times. Right. Then we're going to do that one more time to the next front post. Yarn over twice, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to kind of fold those stitches down, and we're going to get that middle stitch with an extended single crochet. Just like that. Now we're going to go back again and get those 2 front posts that we missed. Yarn over twice. Stretch back to this first one that we skipped. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice. Get the next front post. Pull through 2. Pull through 2, pull through 2. Just like that. And you can start to see it cross. Your next stitch is an extended single crochet. It's going to be right here. You're going to do 1 extended single crochet. Your next stitch is a front post double crochet. Your next stitch is an extended single crochet. And these get easier as you go. I know I keep saying that, but it really does. Okay, and then you're at another crossing section. Right here. You're going to skip these 2 and go into, skip these 2 front posts, skip this, and we're going to go into this front post with a treble crochet. Then we're going to do that one more time. Yarn over into the next front post and do a treble crochet. Then you're going to fold those stitches down, and then into that middle, let me show you. Right here. You're going to place an extended single crochet. All right. Then you're going to go backwards with a treble and go into the first front post that you skipped. Yarn over twice again, and then you're going to get the second post that you skipped. This is what you're going to repeat all the way till we get to the stitch marker again. So the next stitch is going to be an extended single crochet. The next stitch is a front post double crochet. The next stitch is an extended single crochet. And then we're at a crossing stitches again. So yarn over twice, skip those 3 stitches. Into this front post, you're going to place a front post treble crochet. Into that next front post, you're going to place another treble crochet. Fold those trebles down into that middle stitch. You're going to do an extended single crochet. I say the middle because it's in between the 2 front posts. Then you're going to go back to the first front post that you skipped and do a treble. And then you're going to place another treble in the second post that you missed. Just like that. Into your next stitch is an extended single crochet. The next post is a front post double crochet. Extended single crochet into the next. And now we're at crossing stitches. It gets repetitive. So we're going to place a treble into this front post double crochet. And then into the next one, another treble. Fold those stitches down. Place an extended single crochet. Then you're going to go back and get those first posts that you skipped and place a treble crochet. Then you're going to get that second post that you skipped with a treble crochet. Just like that. Then we're going to repeat that one more time. Extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet, and now we're at the crossing section. We're going to place a treble crochet into your third post. Place another treble crochet into the fourth and last post. Fold those stitches down. Place an extended single crochet in the middle. Then we're going to go back, place a treble crochet into the first post that we skipped. And then one more treble into the second post that we skipped. There we go. Now, the next 4 rows are going to be repeat rows. This is what you're going to do for 4 rows. And it's just going to be a repeat of whatever stitch is next. So into the first stitch, you're going to place an extended single crochet. And this is what you're going to do for 4 rows. Place your stitch marker back in, don't forget. The next stitch is in front post double crochet. These rows are what I call straightening rows because it straightens everything out. The next stitch is an extended single crochet. And then the next 2 stitches are front posts, but you kind of have to stretch it so you can see it. It's kind of hidden underneath the twist. But if you pull it back and insert it, you'll see it. So you're going to place a front post double crochet into this front post. And then on your second front post, right next to it. It's kind of hidden, but it's there. And then right next to that in the middle, remember when we flipped those stitches over? You're going to place an extended single crochet right here in the middle. just like that. Now you're going to place 2 front post double crochet in these 2 front posts that you can clearly see. So that's 1, and then another front post double crochet. Oops. Front post, just like that. Now you can see the cross happening. Now the next stitch, which I think you can see pretty well, is an extended single crochet because it's not protruding. That's how you know. And then the next stitch is a front post double crochet. The next stitch is a extended single crochet. And then we're at the crossing section again, where you kind of have to pull those stitches apart so we can do our 2 front post double crochet. So 1 front post double crochet, and then 2. Gonna have to stick it, and then it'll kind of find its way through. The next stitch is right in the middle. It's going to be an extended single crochet right here. And then you're gonna do 2 front post double crochet into these last 2 front posts. And this is what you're gonna repeat all the way around till you get to the stitch marker. And then you're gonna do this again for another 3 rows. And this will be a 4-row repeat. So you're gonna do an extended single crochet, a front post double crochet, extended single crochet right here, and then you're going to kind of pull those stitches down so you can see the ones behind it, and do 2 front post double crochet. 1, 2, and then an extended single crochet right here in the middle, and then 2 more front post double crochet. 1, 2. And then we're going to do that again. Extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet, oops, there we go, and then you're at your crossing where you got to kind of pull those stitches apart, and you're going to do a front post double crochet, and then another front post double crochet, then an extended single crochet right here in the middle, and then 2 front post double crochet into these last 2 front posts. Just like that. Again, extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet, and then we're going to do 2 front post double crochet into these little behind front posts. This is your second front post double crochet, and then an extended single crochet through the middle, and then 2 more front post double crochet. Just like that. Now, last time for this pattern, extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet, two front post double crochet, and after this round, your next 3 rounds of this repeat will be even easier to see the stitches, and you'll see what I mean. Extended single crochet through the middle, and then your last 2 front post double crochet. Just like that. Now you can see the cables starting to form. And this is the pattern. We're going to do this for another 3 rows because this is a 4-row repeat. So moving on to row 2 of this repeat. Extended single crochet into the first stitch. Replace your stitch marker. The next stitch is a front post double crochet, as you can see right here. A line of it is forming. Front post double crochet. Extended single crochet into the next stitch. And now those twisted stitches, they're not so twisted anymore, so you can really see them now. So you're going to do 2 front post double crochet. 1, 2. The next stitch is a extended single crochet right here in the middle. You should be able to really visibly see all the stitches by now. The next 2 stitches are front post double crochet. It's the same pattern. It's going to be a 4-row repeat. The next stitch is a front post double crochet, then an extended single crochet, then a front post double crochet, extended single crochet, and then you're at your crossing, but you're going to do 2 front post double crochet. 1, 2, into the next stitch, an extended single crochet right in the middle, and then 2 front post double crochet. 1, 2. Then repeat, extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet, and then your crossing section is 2 front post double crochet. 1, 2. Then right here in the middle, an extended single crochet. And then 2 front post double crochet. 1, 2. The next stitch is an extended single crochet, then a front post double crochet, then an extended single crochet, and then a crossing. 2 front post double crochet. 1, 2, right here in the middle, the next stitch, extended single crochet, and then 2 front post double crochet. Just like that. And then we're going to repeat the pattern all the way till we get to the stitch marker. Do this one more time. Extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet. Now we got a crossing, 2 front post double crochet, 1, 2, extended single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 more front post double crochet. Just like that. Do this one more time. Extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet. Now our last crossing for this row, 2 front post double crochet, 1, 2, extended single crochet into the next, and then your last 2 front post double crochet of this row, 1 and 2. Now we're going to do this for 2 more rows and we'll have 4, and it'll build up that cable very nicely. It'll get easier and easier as you do it, and everything will really start to form, and it won't take you so long to do. It'll work up really fast. Moving on to row 3 of our 4-row repeat. I think you guys kind of get the pattern by now. Make sure to replace your stitch marker after every first stitch, which is going to be an extended single crochet. And then the pattern always begins like this. In these first 3 stitches, they're always going to be the same. It's an extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet. It'll always start like that in every round. Now you can really see those stitches. 2 front posts, an extended, and 2 front posts. Like that. I'm going to complete this row and I'll meet you when we get to the end. Okay, I'm at my last few stitches of this row. Finishing up this section, I'm going to do my last extended single crochet and then my last 2 front post double crochet. Now we're just going to do this exact same thing for 1 more row, and that'll complete our 4-row repeat. It's looking good already. Now we're going to move on to the last row. I'm going to remove the stitch marker. Come on, girl. Thank you. I'm sorry, guys. extended single crochet, making sure to replace that stitch marker. Front post double crochet, an extended single crochet, and then you guys get the pattern. You're going to do 2 front posts, an extended, and 2 front posts, and you're going to repeat that all the way around. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to meet you when we're closer to the stitch marker again. We've reached our stitch marker. We have 1 more stitch left. It's going to be a front post double crochet, and that completes the 4-row repeat. Now the next row is going to be the beginning of a new cable, which is going to be called a crossing round. This is where we're going to cross the stitches. So I'm going to show you how to do that again. Our first stitch of every round is going to be an extended single crochet. Make sure to replace the stitch marker. Into the next stitch is a front post double crochet. And then into the next stitch is a extended single crochet. Now we're going to do the crossing with the trebles. And now you can really see them, so I think it's a bit easier now as well. So we're going to go into this post right here, skipping the first 2, yarn over twice, and place a treble crochet. We're going to do that one more time, yarn over twice, and place a treble crochet into the next front post. Then we're going to kind of fold those down, and into that middle stitch between the posts, you're going to place an extended single crochet. Now we're going to go back to those first 2 posts that we skipped, and then we're going to place a treble, starting in the first one that we skipped. 1 treble crochet, pulling through 2 loops 3 times, and then 1 more treble crochet into this second post that we skipped. And this is what we're going to keep doing all the way around till we reach the red stitch marker, or whatever color your stitch marker is. So starting one more time, we're going to do an extended single crochet, a front post double crochet, an extended single crochet, and now we're going to do a crossing again. So skipping those first 3 stitches, skipping the extended, yep, we're going to go right into this post right here. We're going to yarn over twice, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Oh, I did that fast. We're going to do that one more time into the next front post. We're going to flip those down. We're going to get our extended single crochet. Then we're going to go back and get those first 2 posts that we skipped, yarning over twice, place a treble crochet into the first post, and then 1 more treble into the second post that you skipped. All right, this is what we're going to do all the way till we reach the stitch marker again, and I'm going to do that and meet you when we're closer to the end. I'm at my last crossing section. I'm going to place my treble crochet, another treble into the last post here, then we're going to fold those down. We're going to place an extended single crochet into this middle stitch. Then we're going to go back and place a treble into these first 2 posts that we skipped. 1 treble, and 2 treble into the next. And that is our crossing row. Now after this is going to be the 4-row repeat, or what I call the straightening rounds, where you straighten out all those stitches. I'm going to show you that again. This is what we're going to do for 4 rows. The first row is the toughest. So the first stitch is always going to be an extended single crochet. Make sure to replace the stitch marker. All right, the next stitch is a front post double crochet. The next stitch is an extended single crochet. And then this is where you kind of have to pull those stitches apart to see those 2 front posts that are kind of in back of the other 2 front posts. So you're going to do a front post double crochet into the first, a front post double crochet into the second, and then right there in the middle, if you kind of pull it apart, you'll see that middle stitch. You're going to place an extended single crochet. Now into these next 2 front posts that you can see, you're going to place a front post double crochet. And then another front post double crochet into the next. Then we're going to do this one more time. Extended single crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet, oops, and then we're going to pull those stitches apart so we can do our 2 front posts double crochet, 1, 2, then right in the middle there we're going to do an extended single crochet, and then 2 front post double crochet in your last 2 front posts. 1, 2, just like that. Now I'm going to continue that. Oops, there we go. I'm going to continue doing that all the way around until we reach the stitch marker again, and I'll meet you when we get closer to that. All right, here we are. I've completed the round. Now we're going to do 3 more rows. And now these stitches you can see really clearly, so it's not going to be as difficult. Extended single crochet into the first stitch, replacing the stitch marker after your first of every round. The next stitch is a front post double crochet, then an extended single crochet into the next. And now your next stitches are going to be 2 front post double crochet, and we can see them clearly now because we straightened it out. Second front post double crochet, oopsie, sorry about that, front post double crochet, and then right here in the middle, extended single crochet, and then 2 front post double crochet, 1, 2. Then we're just going to repeat that all the way around, starting with an extended single crochet, front post double crochet, all the way around. I'm going to do that and meet you at the end. I've completed that, and we're just going to do that again. 2 more rows, guys. We got this. Extended single crochet, replacing the stitch marker. Front post double crochet. Extended single crochet. Front post double crochet, 1, 2, extended single crochet right here in the middle, and then front post double crochet, 1, 2, And that's what we're going to do all the way around till we reach the stitch marker. I'm going to do that and meet you when I'm done. Went ahead and completed that. That's how it looks. Now we have one more row. We're going to do that as quickly as possible. We know the pattern. We start with an extended single crochet, replacing the stitch marker, front post double crochet, extended single crochet, 2 front post double crochet, 2, extended single crochet, 2 front post double crochet, 1, 2, and that's what we're going to repeat all the way around till we reach our stitch marker again. All right, we completed that. That was our 4-row repeat, and now the next row will be a crossing round. And we're going to do that till we have 5.5 cables. And I'm going to do that really quickly, and I will meet you back and show you how to count the cables so you know like when you're done. I went ahead and completed all the cables that I needed to do. You're going to end on a twist section, so not on your 4-round repeat. You're going to make sure you end on the row where you're crossing the cables. And this is how you're going to kind of count them. It's going to be 1/2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cables ending at a twist. So this is where you want to end at. Once you have that, we're going to get started on making the hole for your heel. So you're going to remove the stitch marker. Into the first stitch, you're going to place an extended single crochet. Replace your stitch marker. And then into the next, you're going to do a front post double crochet, extended single crochet into the next. Then you're going to kind of pull these apart so you can do your 2 front post double crochet. 1, 2. Then you're going to do your extended single crochet right here in the middle. And then your 2 front post double crochet. Into the next stitch, we're going to do an extended single crochet. Into the next, a front post double crochet. Into the next, an extended single crochet. Then you're going to do your 2 front post double crochet to these 2 front posts here. 1, 2. Kind of gotta find it. Then your extended single crochet in the middle. 1. And then you're going to do your 2 front post double crochet. Into the next stitch, we're going to do one last extended single crochet. And now we're going to create the hole. Okay, so we just did our first 17 stitches. And now we're going to chain 17. You're going to chain 17. I'm going to do that really quickly. Once we have the 17 stitches, well, the 17 chains that we made, we're going to skip 17 stitches, which is basically 2 whole cable crosses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So into this stitch right here, you're going to place an extended single crochet, and then you're just going to keep on right along as normal, and we're going to deal with this on the next round, because that's where the hole is going to be. So moving right along, placing 2 front post double crochet, then in the middle here an extended single crochet, then your 2 front posts, and then we're just going to continue on following the stitch pattern, and then I'm going to meet you when we reach the hole again, so I can kind of tell you what to do. All right, I reached the stitch marker, which is the beginning, our first stitch, and this is before we get to the hole again. So we're just gonna continue these stitches normally, just, you know, extended crochets on top of extended single crochets. We're placing the stitch marker, and then front post double crochets on top of front post double crochets, and we're gonna do that until we reach that little hole section that we made, and then I will meet you when we get there. I didn't want to skip this part in case anybody got to this and didn't know what to do. So yeah, I'll do that and then meet you when we get to the hole section. I'm at the hole section. I'm going to do my last extended single crochet right here. And now we're at that chain, the 17 chains that we made for the hole. And then we're just going to roll it to the side like how we did in the beginning. And we're just going to place 17 extended single crochets. So you're going to roll it to the side till we can see that those little third loops that lay on the back straight. And we're going to insert our hook into that, and that's what we're going to place the extended single crochets into. We're going to do 17 of those so that in the next round we just can continue the pattern and do the front post where front posts need to be and extended crochets where extended crochets need to be. So we're just going to take our time because, you know, the third loop can be a little tricky to get into depending on how tight you crochet, and I tend to chain and crochet pretty tightly, so this takes me a little bit of time, but it's worth it because when we go to sew or crochet that hole in the, what do you call it, the heel, when you do the heel part, it fits better because instead of going into like one side of a chain, you get to go into 2 prominent stitches, so it makes it easier. I just like going into the third chain here. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can go into whatever loop you want to. It doesn't make a huge difference. It just makes it a bit easier, in my opinion, at the end when you want to attach other pieces of yarn. But anyway, so we're going to continue on doing the 17 extended single crochet all the way till we reach the end. I'm going to do that and I'll meet you at the end. This is my last extended single crochet. And then that hard part is pretty much, it's all done. We did it. So now moving right along, continuing with the pattern, your next stitch right here is going to be an extended single crochet. Don't forget it. And then you're just going to continue on with the pattern, doing your 2 front post double crochet all the way till you reach your stitch marker again. After your stitch marker, we're on the 2nd repeat round. So after this, we're going to do 2 more rounds of this repeat. And then I will meet you back when we start another round or we get closer to the end. All right, we're at our 2nd round, repeat round, which we know it's going to be starting with an extended single crochet and replacing that stitch marker. And then we're just going to continue on with the pattern. And I'll meet you when we get to this section with our 17 extended single crochet. So here we are. This first one, as you can see, we're going to just follow the pattern below. So extended single crochet. Then this next one is a front post. So that means you're going to do a front post, double crochet, just like this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Then your next stitch, as you can see below, is going to be an extended single crochet right here next to it. And then you're going to have your 2 front post double crochet, 1, and 2. Then your extended single crochet right in between. And then 2 more front post double crochet. 1 and 2. The next stitch is an extended single crochet, then a front post, as you can see below, then extended single crochet. And you're at your last cable right here crossing, so you're going to do 2 front post double crochet. Make sure you skip that previous extended single crochet. Don't front post into that one. This is our last front post double crochet, and then right next to it an extended single crochet, just like that, and then a front post double crochet, front post double crochet, extended single crochet, just like that. And now you're just going to continue on, front post double crochet, extended, just like that. And after this round, we'll have 1 more round of repeat, and you're just going to repeat the pattern. And now that we got past the whole part, it's just going to be the same thing, repeating the crisscross section of the cables, and then repeating your 4-row repeat. So very simple. I'm going to continue that, and I will meet you when we're done with, I think this time we're going to do about 2 whole cables and then 2 half cables. So I'm going to do that, and then I will meet you when we're there. I figured I'd do this last row on this little whole section so that you understand the concept. So you're just going to complete this last repeat row of the alternating front post and extended single crochet, And this will be the last row of that. And then after this, you're going to do the crossing rows where you do your 2 trebles. And then you're going to repeat the 4-row repeat, and you're going to do that, and then I'll meet you when we're closer to those. I just wanted to come back and explain that, just in case anybody was confused, okay? I'm going to do that, and I'll meet you when we're closer to the end. Right, we're here. We're going to start at the hole with the heel, and we're going to count this little half cable, a whole cable, 2 whole cables, and then another half cable. So you're going to stop at your second repeat round. You're not going to do a whole 4 repeat rounds. You're going to stop at the second one. Then you're going to grab your second color, or if not, you're just going to continue on. And then you're going to take out your stitch marker, and into this next stitch we're going to change colors. So we're going to pretend to do an extended single crochet, and then instead of completing it, we're going to grab our second color and we're going to kind of loop that through, and then we're going to complete the extended single crochet with the new color. Pull that through too, just like that. Then we're going to place a stitch marker into that first stitch, and then I'm just going to tie those 2 colors together in a knot so that they don't come apart. I tied them in a knot. I think my camera didn't record that, but I tied it in a knot. And then in every single stitch all the way around, we're going to place 1 extended single crochet. So we're going to do that into every stitch, working over the tails that we tied together, so we don't have that much to weave in at the end. So working over that, we're going to place 1 extended single crochet into each stitch. I'm going to do that and meet you when we're back to the stitch marker. Okay, here we are at the stitch marker. Now we're going to remove the stitch marker. And now our second row is going to be starting to decrease, because this is going to be the toes of the sock. So into this first stitch, we're going to place an extended single crochet and place a stitch marker. So this is going to count as 1 of the first 11 extended single crochet. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now in the next stitch, we're going to do an extended single crochet decrease. How we do that is we're going to insert our hook through the front loop only, and then also into both loops of this next stitch. So you're going to try to get it in there. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through both of those first 2 loops. You're going to kind of have to, it's a little tricky, but you can do it. Just like that. And now we're going to continue the extended single crochet. So yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's how we're going to do the decrease. I'm going to show you that one more time just so that it's clear. So into these next 2 stitches, we're going to pull up a loop from the front loop only of this next stitch, and then both loops of the next stitch. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops. Just like that. Then we're going to complete it. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. That's our decrease. Now into the next stitch, we're going to place an extended single crochet. Now, they're going to be 4 decreases in this round. So after this extended single crochet, we're going to place a stitch marker, because in between each decrease, there's going to be an extended single crochet. So now into the next 2 stitches, we're going to do another decrease. So we're going to show you that again. We're going to insert our hook into the front loop only, like that, and then into the both loops of the next stitch, just like that. Yarn over, pull through both of those loops, like that, and now we're going to complete the extended single crochet. Pull through 1, pull through 2. Now that's that. We did a decrease, then an extended single crochet, and then a decrease. Now we're going to place 1 extended single crochet into the next 19 stitches, I believe. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Now into the next 2 stitches, we're going to do another decrease. Insert your hook into the front loop and then into the both loops of the next stitch. Pull through all 2, and then yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. That's a decrease. Now in between, we're going to place an extended single crochet and then place a stitch marker, because this is how we're going to know where to place our decreases on the next round. So 1 stitch marker, and then after that, we're going to place another decrease. So let's do 1 more decrease together. Front loop, both loops. Pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Just like that. Now we're going to place 1 extended single crochet into each stitch until we reach the stitch marker. I'm going to do that, and I will meet you when we're closer to the stitch marker. All right, we're here at the end of the round. And now, so the concept for these rounds are gonna, I think I did about 9 rounds of this, is you're going to extended single crochet on each stitch until you reach the stitch marker, where you'll place a decrease on both sides of your stitch markers. So you're going to have 4 decreases on each round. So you're going to place an extended single crochet. This is the beginning. So you're going to place your stitch marker. And then you're going to place an extended single crochet into each of these stitches until you have 2 stitches left before the stitch marker. And in those 2 stitches, you're going to place a decrease. And I'll show you that when we get closer. I hope that makes sense. So basically there's going to be a stitch marker between, or an extended single crochet between each decrease. Okay? So now we have 2 stitches left before the stitch marker. So we're going to place a decrease. So we're going to place one decrease here. Just like that. And then where our stitch marker is, we're going to remove that. We're going to place an extended single crochet, replace the stitch marker, just like that, and then another decrease. Just like that. Now we're going to continue on putting one extended single crochet into each stitch until we reach the last 2 stitches before the next stitch marker. So I'm going to do that and meet you when we're closer there. Here we are. We're going to place our decrease in these first 2 stitches before the stitch marker. 1 decrease. Remove the stitch marker, place our extended single crochet. Replace the stitch marker. And then another decrease. And then this is the pattern. This is how we're going to decrease, placing 4 decreases on each round. And we're going to do this for, I think, 8 or 9 rounds. I'll tell you exactly how many rounds I did when I'm done. So I'm just going to complete that, and I'll meet you back when I have all the rounds that I'm going to do. Here we are. I completed the rounds. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows. It looks kind of like a little fish mouth right now. And now I'm just going to kind of finish this off. I'm going to chain 2 just to secure. I like to do this to secure a knot. You don't have to do this. You can just cut off if you want to. So you're going to pull up a long enough loop to kind of sew this hole close. So I'm just going to cut the yarn. Pull that through, pull the knot down so it's secured, and then I'm going to grab my darning needle. You can use your crochet hook if you like. If you rather crochet it together, you can totally do that. So right now it's shaped like a little fish hole. We want to scrunch it or fold it or pinch it the other way. So we don't want it to look like this. We want it to look like this. Okay? This is how you want to sew it together. This is important for the shape. So then you're just going to grab your needle, and without any real kind of rhyme or reason, you're just going to go back and forth until this is kind of secure. And since mine kind of started in the middle-ish, I'm just going to go to the left, kind of close up this section here, and then I'm going to kind of go back to the right to close up the other hole and to kind of smooth out this little edge right here. I'm just going to go back and forth until I feel it's secure, and then when I'm done with how many times I want to go back and forth, I'm just going to kind of weave it in the inside, make a little knot, tie it off, and then it'll pretty much be done after that. So I'm just going to go through it a few times because, you know, this is a stocking. You want to make sure that stocking stuffers can hold. And I'm just going to weave that through. I'm going to cut this yarn right here. And then that's it. You can smush it back the other way so that your heel is facing the right way. And then now this is how it looks. It looks more rounded, like how a sock toe should look. And now we're going to move on to the heel. The heel is done in a very similar way. You're just going to grab your dark yarn again, and we're going to start at the corner here. This is where we're going to attach the yarn. And we're just going to attach it by making a little loop with a knot. And then I'm just going to attach that to the corner. It doesn't matter which corner you attach it in, as long as it's a corner. I'm going to attach mine right here. I'm going to grab the little loop I made. I'm going to pull that through. And then I'm going to secure it with a chain. So we're just going to pull that through and then chain. Just like that. Now into each stitch all the way across and working over the tail, we're going to place one extended single crochet into each stitch. You don't have to worry about a stitch marker if you're using a different color, because you'll see. But if you are using the same color, I would highly suggest to use a stitch marker. So we're just going to place one extended single crochet into each of these stitches, and I'm going to do that, and I will meet you when I am at the beginning again. I completed all of my extended single crochet, and now we're going to start decreasing. Now, similar to the toe, we're going to place 4 decreases on each round, but differently, we're not going to place an extended single crochet in between. So we're just going to place, starting off, our first decrease right here into these first 2 stitches in the corner, and all of the decreases are going to go in the corner only. So we're going to place a stitch marker now, and now we're going to place one extended single crochet until we get to the next corner. I'm just going to do that really quickly, placing one extended single crochet into each of these stitches. And then when I get to the corner, we're going to place 2 decreases back to back. So no extended single crochet in between, just 2 decreases back to back. And I'll show you that when we get closer to the corner. All right, we're at the corner. So now we're just going to use these 4 stitches, and we're going to do decreases back to back. So we're going to place our first decrease. This is 1. And then place a stitch marker, because this is the only way you know where to put your decreases on the next rounds. And then 2 decreases. Just like that. And then we're going to continue on placing one extended single crochet into each stitch until we get to the next stitch marker. And then before that stitch marker, in those 2 stitches before the stitch marker, you're going to place another decrease, because you want 2 decreases in each corner. So in the beginning, we only placed 1 decrease to begin. And then we went to our next corner and did 2 decreases. So when we reach our stitch marker again, we're going to have to place another decrease to complete the 2 decreases for that corner. So I'm going to do this, and I'll meet you when we get to the corner. All right, we have a few more stitches before the decrease. So I'm just going to place these last few extended single crochet. 1 more. And now we have 2 stitches left before the stitch marker. And this is where we're going to place our decrease. So we're going to place 1 decrease here. just like that. And then we're going to remove the stitch marker and place another decrease, because we're going to place our decreases back to back for the heel part. Make sure to replace your first decrease with the stitch marker so you know in the second round or in the next round what to do. So now we're going to do one more decrease. Just like that. And now we're going to place one extended single crochet into each of these stitches till we get to the 2 stitches before the next stitch marker. So I'm going to do that. And I'll meet you when we get closer to the stitch marker. All right, here we are, 2 stitches before the stitch marker. We're going to place our decrease. Just like that. Then we're going to remove the stitch marker. We're going to place it into this stitch we just did, the decrease we just did. And then we're going to place one more decrease. And that's it. That's the pattern to close the heel. And this is what we're going to do for about 4 or 5 rounds, depending on how thick your yarn is. Sometimes I do 4, sometimes I do 5. It all really just depends on yarn type. So I'm going to do that, and I'll tell you how many rounds I did this time. All right, here we are. I did 4 rounds this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So both sides I did 4 rows. Now we're going to chain 2, pull up a long enough tail so that we can sew this closed just like we did for the toe. Cut this yarn right here. Pull it through so we can tighten down the knot. We can remove the stitch markers now. We're going to grab our yarn needle. And then we're also going to not sew it this way, but we're going to flatten it this way. And this is how we're going to sew it closed. This is important too. Then we should probably turn it the other way so that we can sew from left to right. Yep. Just like this. So this is how we're going to sew it closed. You're going to grab your needle. And this one, you're just simply going to follow the stitches and you're just going to go back and forth. It's like this. So under and up, all the way through each stitch to the end. Making sure not to pull it too tightly, but snug just enough. Right, I am going to do that, and then I will meet you when I'm done sewing all of these together. All right, we're at this last little stitch right here. After I like how that looks, you're gonna kind of flatten that out, and this is how your heel will look. It kind of all flattens out. You can block this or steam it if you want to. I've had mine for like over a year now, my last ones that I made, and it kind of flattens out and relaxes over time, especially if you put stuffing in it. So that works out. Now we're just going to close that first little section that we made like in the very beginning that we left, remember? Just going to grab your yarn needle. And you're just going to simply go through this top stitch here, pull it through, and then you're going to weave it through the bottom stitch here and up through the side, just like this. Or however you like. As long as it closes, it closes. Just like that. And then you're just going to weave this in. Cut the yarn. You're not going to see this section anyway because the ribbing folds over this part. But yeah, you're going to cut this yarn after you weave it in. And then we're going to move on to the ribbing. The ribbing is the last and final section. It's the easiest part. And this is what your stocking looks like. It's honestly so beautiful. You're going to get your darkest color or whatever color you choose. And we're going to chain 31. Once you have your 31 chains, you're going to roll it to the side. And you're going to work into these third loops that you see going straight down the middle and the back. You're going to skip that first chain, and then into the second chain, you're going to place 1 half double crochet. So you're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's a half double crochet. Then we're going to place a stitch marker to make sure that we're keeping both ends of our work going in a straight line. And then we're going to continue on making 1 half double crochet into each stitch all the way to the end. So we'll have 30 half double crochet. I'm going to continue that, taking your time, because these first stitches, they take time and patience to get through. So I'll do that and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I made my 30 half double crochet. Then at the end of each row, you're going to chain 1, turn your work. And now working into the back loops only now, for the rest of this section, we're going to place 1 half double crochet into each back loop only. So at the end of each round, you should have 30 half double crochet in the back loop only. Making sure to put your stitch marker at the beginning of each round. Every time you do your first and your last stitch, it should have a stitch marker to ensure that we're keeping the same stitch count. So I'm going to do that, placing 1 half double crochet in the back loop only, and I'll meet you when we do 34 rows. Okay, we've done 34 rows. Now, starting with where we left off, we're just going to insert our hook back in, and just like we would do if we're doing another row, we're going to chain 1 and turn the work. Then we're going to fold it in half. We're going to be closing this up with a single crochet in the front loops only. So this front loop here, and then the front loop of your front piece right here. And you're going to yarn over. I'm sure you know how to do a single crochet. You're going to yarn over. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. You don't have to use a stitch marker for this part because we're just going to close it and then be done. So don't worry about the stitch marker this time. So you're just going to do 1 single crochet into each of the front loops, closing your piece together. So this is the back loop. This is the front loop. We want the front loops only. All right, so I'm going to continue that, and I'll meet you when I'm done with all of my single crochet. I've completed all of the single crochet. This is what it looks like on the wrong side. We're going to flip it inside out in a minute. We're just going to secure this by chaining 2. Then I'm going to pull up a long loop, cut it, tighten it down, and then we're going to flip it inside out the right way, because this way you won't be able to see the seam. because we just did a seamless seam. So this way it just looks like another row. So when we attach it to the stocking, you can never tell where the seam is. Really nice, really clean. Once you do that, you're going to grab your stocking and we're going to simply sew it with a yarn needle. Make sure your heel is to the right, it's facing the right. And you're going to attach it like so with your yarn needle. And I'll show you that right now. I'm going to get 2 stitch markers just to place on each side to keep it in place so that while I'm sewing it, it doesn't move around too much. So I did that. Then I'm going to start with my longer end. I'm going to grab my yarn needle. And then I'm just going to start going under the bottom color, pulling my yarn through. And then going over from the dark color to the light color and just doing that all the way around. Try to show you guys. So the light color, which is the cable stitch part of the stocking, has prominent stitches that you can see like that, but the ribbing won't. So you're just kind of gonna have to like stitch in between each of the ribbing rows and then through each stitch on the bottom, just so it can just kind of evenly spread out the stitches and it doesn't bunch up. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna meet you back when I'm done doing all of the sewing together. And we're almost done. This is what it looks like once you sew all the way around. Then I'm just gonna take both tails and tie them together in a knot. Nothing crazy. Once I tie it in the knot, I'm going to weave in the ends and cut the yarn. And this is what it looks like. Final touches is you're just going to fold down your ribbing, straighten it out just a tad bit, and you're all done. Such a gorgeous, chic looking, it looks expensive. Like, I think I was looking at a Gary's, I'm going on a rant. I was looking at a Gary's magazine and I was like, these could totally be sold for like $100. But anyway, thanks for watching.